Hello everybody, welcome back to my YouTube channel. My name is Adrian and I am a student at Chamberlain University, and today this video is going to be about collaborative. So getting right into it, collaborative. I took collaborative last session, so now I'm in capstone. So just a little update on where I am now. I'm in capstone, and since I've started I've hit the ground running. So I've been very busy and I've been doing a lot of things, but I really wanted to make this video and get it out there for you guys. So and then on my last video I did like a little car chronicles video, and I talked about my job interview, and so I got the job, and so I posted about it on my Instagram. So if you want to check it out, you know, you can do that. But I did get the job. I interviewed like the next day after I recorded that video last session, and then I interviewed and I got the job. So yeah, so it's really great. So right now I'm in capstone, and after this class, you know, I have a job lined up already, and so I just have to make sure that I get through this class, pass the exit exam, and then pass the NCLEX. So yeah, so things are getting real. Things are getting yeah, things are getting real. It's getting real, y'all. So yeah, I've been really busy so far. We're only in week 2, so you know, and I'm just doing it, you know, getting after it. So other than that, I don't really have any other updates really, but today I wanted to talk about collaborative. So overall, collaborative is like the course itself, I will say, is pretty easy. I mean, collaborative, a lot of people are like, what is collaborative? Like, what is that about? Like, what, you know, what even is that, you know? And collaborative is all about leadership and management, and so how to manage people, different management styles, things like that. Leadership styles, how to, there's a lot of, you learn a lot about prioritization and delegation, which, you know, a lot of times when you get questions like NCLEX questions, test questions, you know, they'll ask you, you know, what is a priority, or how to delegate, you know, what would you delegate to the unlicensed assistive personnel, or the LVN or LPN, things like that. We talk a lot about that in this class. So that's really what the class is about, and I didn't find, you know, the content that I learned too difficult, honestly. So the content really wasn't that much of a problem. I mean, of course, I mean, I still studied and I still reviewed, you know, for quizzes and exams and things like that. For this class, we had quizzes, we had, you know, of course, EDAPs, things like that. We had an exam. We had one exam in this class, which is different because normally you have 2 exams. But our last exam, we had a CMS for leadership as well. And so we did our last, yeah, so we did our last binder, which is binder assignment. So which is pretty great. Like, we no more binders, right? Like, we don't have to deal with that. We don't have to do any of that. You know, we had to do, you know, the ATI assessments, and then we had to do our binder, and then the CMS, right? So the CMS, and then we had proctored exams as well as part of, so the CMS, and then we had proctored comprehensive assessments, A and B, which A you take on week 1, and then B you take around week 8. At least that's what we did in my class when we took it. And so that's just to see like how you're doing in terms of like how ready you are for NCLEX. And that's kind of the other thing, or, you know, also the exit as well. And that's also another thing about this course. Collaborative is really the course you start reviewing a lot for NCLEX. NCLEX preparation and things like that. So one of the things that's really different about, you know, collaborative, or like what's really different about this class, is that now you start doing assignments, like ATI weekly assignments. So on ATI, you will have an assignment that you have to do every week, and it flows very perfectly. You do one thing and then the next and the next. You have like a virtual coach who is basically, you know, there to kind of guide you or support you through your ATI course. So it's almost like taking 2 classes at the same time, but it's really not. So like every week you have a concept. So for example, week 1, the concept was fundamentals, and so you do review on ATI, you do review, and then you do quizzes, and then you have to do a proctored exam on ATI. So you do it proctored at home with your laptop or your, you know, whatever. So you have to download software onto your laptop in order to take these exams. And then after you take it, you have to do that by Wednesday. You have to take the proctored exam and all of that by Wednesday. So that way your virtual coach can give you remediation based on how you did on your exam. And the remediation is not a lot, honestly. Like it's not huge at all. So for me, like my virtual coach would give me like, it's only like a couple questions based off of what you got wrong. The virtual coach will send me oh, there's my cat. So come here. So yeah, so my virtual coach will send me a couple questions, and then all you have to do is, you know, you have to type out the answer to the questions and then respond that to her, right? Where are you going? So yeah, so remediation is really not that bad at all. And then the remediation and the focused review and all of that you do for every weekly concept is due by Sunday as well as all of your other assignments, of course. What do you want? And then another thing that you have to do for collaborative is that I think it's in complex, we start doing pass point, which are, you know, pass point practice exams and baseline exams and things like that, comprehensive exams, and then quizzes that go with pass point as well. In collaborative, you pretty much have the same thing. You have to do a baseline comprehensive exam for pass point, and then based off of your comprehensive exam for pass point, you have to do quizzes based off of your weakest subjects or the weakest concepts that you missed on the pass point exam. And so you have, I think the requirement is you have to do, I believe it's at least, it's either 4 or 6, I don't remember, but I want to say for sure 4. You have to do like 4 quizzes that are part of the assignments on pass point. And you want to do the weakest, you know, whatever your weakest is. So for me, for example, one of my weakest ones was antepartum, because maternity is just not one of my strong suits at all. So I went ahead and I did, one of the quizzes that I did was antepartum. And for the quizzes that you do on pass point, you want to reach level 7. And so that's the level that you want to get on those quizzes. So you have to do them over, you know, you have to do questions over and over and over again until you get a level 7. And I think my professor said we have to do 4. I don't know what the exact number is, because I heard people say different things, and I don't know what every campus does, if every campus is the same when it comes to that. So just go with what your professor tells you on how many quizzes you want to do. But that's something that you also want to do, you know, throughout the session, is make sure that you get those quizzes done as well. And, you know, it's not for a grade, but it is something that's really good for practice, you know, leading up to, you know, the end of collaborative, and, you know, now we're reaching towards, you know, taking the exit and the NCLEX, so all of that. So, you know, it's all really good practice. So you want to make sure that you find a way to make sure that you get into doing all of those things. So another thing for this class, for collaborative, is that we would have one of the things that we had to do this session was we had to do what's called like the NCLEX RN preparation live review sessions. And so you get a calendar, and each calendar has a link to a Zoom or WebEx meeting that is hosted by National. So this is like National Chamberlain, like, you know, every school is involved in this, right? And so you have to attend 4 sessions of these live reviews. And I think these sessions, they were like, I want to say they were like 2 or 3 hours long. And so you have to join the live review, and you don't have to do anything. You don't have to really you don't have to interact. You don't have to keep your camera on, but you have to join the live review, and you have to take attendance in the live review in order to get credit for the assignment. So what the assignment is, there's a reflective activity that you have to do. So you basically have to write, you know, about how the live reviews helped you, what did you learn, what was beneficial, how was it beneficial for you, all of that. And then there's a reflective activity that involves, like, you have to input all of your scores from the ATI assignments that you have to do, the weekly assignments and things like that. And it's a whole assignment that you have to do. So that's another thing that you want to do. And so when you have the opportunity, once you get the links, you basically have to really schedule like which days you're going to do those live reviews. And so we would have live reviews like during the weekends and during, you know, the days of the week. So it was really, I thought it was pretty flexible for me, and I was able to do all 4. And so and then that's the thing, is like you have to do all 4 in order to get credit. And your professors will see your attendance for, as part of the assignment. Your professor has to see that you attended the live reviews. So you want to make sure you do that, and so that way on week 8 you can do that assignment and turn that assignment in. Yeah, so to break it down, this session you have your proctored capstone assessment, which is basically an ATI assessment. That's it's like a comprehensive assessment. You have assessment A and B, and then you have those are ATI, and then you also have ATI assessments, leadership practice assessments A and B, and so the B is when you do your binder. And then you have your weekly assignments, which are all worth points, 230 points for all your weekly ATI assignments, your weekly concepts and things like that. And then you have your NCLEX preparation, live review, and reflective activity, which is 50 points and all of that. So that's really what kind of composes the course. I really don't know what else to say about the course. That's pretty much it. But yeah, definitely this session is when you start doing a lot more prep for, the NCLEX and, the exit and things like that. So that's really when it starts to pick up. So now I'm going to talk about clinical. So my clinical experience for collaborative, I keep trying to say capstone, for collaborative. So for collaborative, you have clinicals every week. For all 8 weeks. So we had 2 virtual, and then we got cleared, and then we had it was like, what is that, 6? Yeah, we had 6 in-person clinicals, and my clinicals this session were night shift clinicals, which was new to me. I had never gotten night shift clinicals before. And the clinicals that you do for collaborative, they are on med-surg. So we go back to med-surg units. And so for me, I was at a level 1 trauma hospital in the medical center, and I was there for night shift. And so you would think like it was eventful, and it really wasn't. So, but that's just how it is. Like sometimes it was eventful, sometimes we got to do really cool things, and then but a lot of times it was just very chill and slow. And so yeah, so yeah, when you do clinicals, just keep that in mind. Like, you will have like med-surg clinicals for collaborative. I wish we could have had opportunities to go to other places, you know, like, you know, ER or ICU or things like that, but no. And another thing that I've heard, I don't know how true this is, but because this is collaborative and we are learning leadership, one of the things that I heard is that I think for clinical, it's like you're supposed to shadow the charge nurse, because, you know, this is a leadership class. So in a way, it's like you have to shadow the leader or the charge nurse. But because when I was in clinical, every unit, we had one student per unit. So we had all these units that we could go to. All of them were med-surg, and on each unit there would only be one of us, like one student per unit. So and I think for clinicals, like I think we're supposed to shadow the charge nurse, but that wasn't really something that was clear. But we ended up getting assigned, you know, to a nurse and whatever, and it was fine. But that's something that's definitely something to clarify. Like, when you go to clinical, like, make sure that you know, ask or whatever, like, you know, who are we supposed to be shadowing? Are we supposed to be shadowing the charge nurse or just a regular nurse or whatever? But yeah, but like I said, either way, it was whatever. So my clinical experiences were pretty good, pretty positive. I had some pretty great nurses. But yeah, we have, you know, we had a clinical, we had to do one care plan as usual. But other than that, that was pretty much it. That's pretty much it for this video. I don't know what else to say. Yeah, that's pretty much it. This might be one of the shortest videos for a class that I've ever made, but yeah, if you guys have any questions, definitely leave a comment. You can send me an email, you can DM me on Instagram. With, you know, if I don't reach out immediately, just know that I'm trying and I might be busy on other things, but either way, like, still try to contact me, like, however, which way you want to. But other than that, you know, let me know your questions or whatever you have. Leave me a comment and all that. Follow me on Instagram. And other than that, I will see you guys next time.